The virtuous have gone to heaven, and the rest of us have been left below.
Left below?
I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies. I do. Welcome to the Sunday Fairy Marathon with me. What's that from?
That's from
Peter Pan?
Yeah, the 2004 film, isn't it?
It's me, Pan, from Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
It's me, Monterey Jack from Chippendale.
And it's me, Sweet Pete, from the Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Episode 79! Woohoo!
There was no enthusiasm from you, Chris. Not even fake enthusiasm.
Fuck yeah. How are we? Defeated?
Recovering.
Yeah.
Why are you recovering?
What, from yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, when we watched the Chippendale and Left Behind, that's the one.
Wow.
Fucking, I already forgot.
Wow.
That's the review over. That's the discussion over.
Cancel the episode now.
We don't need to. That's our thoughts. You don't need to listen anymore. Are you still doing it?
Yeah,
Leave.
see you next week.
Leave.
How's everyone been in the week since we recorded last?
When did yes.
When
what?
was that? Last
When did we
Wednesday
record?
or something, wasn't it?
Last week?
Yeah, some point. I think it's like last Tuesday, so
yeah,
a week exactly.
Yeah.
So not great, I guess. I can't differentiate between days anymore. I don't know.
No, that's how bad it's been.
My foot is healing, and that is all I care about. I went to the gym again. I can do things now. I can go outside.
Come on.
Nice.
It's great. You don't know what you take for granted when you have feet that work.
That is true.
I haven't jumped in weeks.
And soon you'll be back and jumping better than ever.
Yeah, you never know how much you're gonna miss a good jump.
Can't say I've jumped in it. Actually, no, that's a lie. We went to go see My Chemical Romance, and I jumped quite a bit because I'm short and I have to jump to actually
ascend.
Gain momentum and see anything.
Were they epic?
They were great.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah.
Up until they played Teenagers, and then I just wanted to kill myself. I hate that song with every fibre.
Yeah, they were like one of the first bands I got into as a kid. So like, as soon as they announced the UK shows, like 2.5 years ago, we got tickets, and
Christ,
it was a really great show.
We were really excited because it's quite convenient because it's only about 20 minutes from my house. I'm not going to get into that because it was just not good. But do you know what? I would see them again, just anywhere but Milton Keynes, and anyone who's listening who went will understand why.
Yeah, I think the general consensus is people hate Milton Keynes and wouldn't want to go back again.
That's great.
Yeah, there are many reasons for that. I don't think it's even really the place more than the fuckery that
I think it's
went
a bit
around
of everything.
Mhm.
I don't know. I actually like Milton Keynes. My uncle used to live there. Don't know if he still does. I used to go there like almost every weekend, so I have a fond place for Milton Keynes, but not for a gig. Never again. I would never do that again.
That's a bit far, bit of a way out.
Yeah,
us.
it's just like
Well, yeah, for
it's
you
by
guys,
Darcy's parents, so
Yeah, it
it's
was
not
all right.
far
Yeah,
from
it was
there.
okay for me because I kind of already like knew the place well and stuff. But
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't do that again. But it's just not equipped for that kind of thing. I don't think
they ran a lot of coach services across the country, including to and from Portsmouth. So I know a couple of people who live here who got the coach to and from the venue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. We could have done that, to be fair. Oh, no, wait, we didn't do that because you went to go see Charlie XCX with all your fellow teenagers and LGBT
You see,
fans.
say teenagers, there was like no one under the age of like 25 there. It was just all the gays.
All the gays. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like, one of my
fun.
one of my friends went and he was very surprised that Chris was even there, which made me laugh.
Clearly hasn't heard the deep dive into Charlie XCX's work
Yeah, no, maybe I'll send it to him.
from Chris's other podcast. Deep diving.
Should I send? I'll send it to him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think you'll like that.
It's good that My Chem didn't disappoint. You like listen to bands like when you're younger and your childhood bands, you see them when you're older and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well,
when we saw System of a Down.
Yeah, they were really bad.
Yeah,
That's still like the most disappointing gig I've ever been to.
I was like, oh.
what was so bad? Did they just sound bad?
I just didn't care. It just sounded like they didn't care.
They clearly did not care. I think Serge, the singer, was ill as well, so he sounded quite bad. The rest of the band just were really flat and lifeless, and the crowd was super violent and aggressive and horrible.
Oh yeah, I heard that they were like smacking people down and stuff.
Yeah. I fell over like 3 times and had to leave. I had to like step to the side, and then I got thrown up on. It was just not a good time.
Oh no, that was one of the big disappointments. One of the big music disappointments in my life.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
shame.
one thing that's always quite worrying. But no, if they ever tour again, I actually think that everyone should go and see them because it's just I don't know, they're still young at heart. I think
Yeah, they're definitely older, but
yeah.
they're having a great time. It's not one of those, you get some like reunions like System of a Down where it's like very, very clear they're literally just there for the money and they don't actually want to do it. But My Chem, you can really tell that they're back together because they really want to be My Chemical Romance again.
Yeah, even though I've never heard so much shit about rats and water bottles, and I had no idea what was going on half the night. I was just like, okay, I'm vibing. I gotta find my water bottle. It's in the dark. It's darker than the shadows. I was like, what the hell are you
Gerard
talking
Way
about?
just kept going on these really weird tangents, and we were really confused.
weird tangents. I was just like, okay.
Oh, cool. About the rat, eh?
Yeah.
So much about the rat.
Nice. We have a big affinity for rats here.
Yeah.
I actually love rats. So.
We actually watched a film about animals that are close to rats.
Yeah.
What, chipmunks?
Yeah, they're kind of like rats.
Chip and Dip and the other ones and the Rescue Rangers. 2022. Directed by the other guy from The Lonely Island, whose name you might not know. Akiva Schaffer.
Oh, I'll be honest. I didn't even know this was a Lonely Island film until...
Is it?
Well,
I mean,
that's what Chris
they're all
told
in
me.
it, so they're all in it.
Yeah.
It's directed by one of them, so I guess
It's
I
a
kind of
Lonely
count
Island
it.
movie.
Yeah.
In the same way that
Yeah.
Popstar is a Lonely Island movie.
To be fair, Popstar's definitely a Lonely Island movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hot Rod.
What?
Hot Rod.
Hot Rod, yeah.
Oh, right. That makes so much
Their
sense
other
now.
one.
Yeah, no, people were talking about those like films in the comments, but I don't know anything about The Lonely Island, so I was like, oh, they're talking about these movies. Okay.
Yeah.
That was it. I just kind of ignored it.
Yeah, I like those movies, especially Popstar. That film's a lot of fun.
I don't think I've seen them.
Yeah, I watched that the other day. I say that the other month. It's a solid movie. It's pretty decent. Chip and Dale, the Rangers who rescue people. This is not that though. This is not like a music one, though they do rap in it. It's Chip and Dale, the Rap Rangers. And they rap a bit.
The Rapping Rangers.
It's the new Disney Plus original movie. Everyone's really hyped for it because it's the new like Avengers type crossover where you get like Roger Rabbit style antics where it goes like, look, they're animated and they're in the real world. Isn't that crazy? But it's in 2022 and we already had, Roger Rabbit and Space Jam in like the 90s, I think. Is it good, guys? What did you think? Because you guys watched it together. I watched it alone. Sadly, but it's, I didn't have the best time with it. I don't know about you guys. It is kind of exactly what I expected.
Yeah, I originally wasn't going to bother because the trailer didn't look very good. And it was like really controversial online, the trailer. A lot of people were like saying, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to be horrible. I only wanted to watch it because I was actually hearing like really positive things when it finally came out, but I don't really understand that at all. It was kind of exactly what I thought it would be from the trailers. It very, very much is just like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Space Jam, but like Disney's version of it. And although I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen, I mean, it's far better than that second Space Jam movie they did last year. It's still not very good.
Yeah, we can't talk about that Space Jam movie though, because that's just criminal. But I have like no nostalgia for Chip and Dale and or some of the other creatures that appeared in this movie.
No,
so
I never watched Chip and Dale.
I wouldn't have watched this if it wasn't for the podcast. And I know that for a fact.
This unless Chris said, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to review it on the podcast. So I go, okay, I guess I'll watch it then. I have no affinity for Chip and Dick. I don't really care about whatever they have going on. I didn't watch the show, and it all seemed like I was like, yeah, this is shit, but maybe even they know it's shit and they just want us to watch like more stuff that they've got in this movie. It's like, here's E.T., his, I don't know, Batman versus E.T., his Ugly Sonic from the Sonic movie that got canned, his, you know, Cats and Roger Rabbit and The Little Mermaid and all that shit. And Chip and Dale. Don't you want to watch the original Chip and Dale series? And then the movie ends, and then the screen minimizes on Disney Plus, and then what appears as it minimizes, it's only the Chip and Dale show. You want to watch the Chip and Dale show, don't you, after you watch this, right?
Yeah. I think it just I don't know, this is like the perfect example of Disney can just make anything at this point and people are just gonna watch it. And
oh my god, it's Ugly Sonic. They did Ugly Sonic and he's in it. He's there. They did the ugly one, and it's funny because it's really self-aware of itself.
Was that supposed to be a Disney thing?
No.
No,
Ugly Sonic has nothing to do with it. That's like, that Sonic movie was Universal, so it has nothing to do with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that it was in there since everything else was kind of like a Disney property.
No, not really.
No,
yeah, you got a few things that are from other companies.
Oh no,
like,
you got Cats and that.
Yeah, you've got that bit at the end where like all the Seth Rogen characters come together. Where you got like Bob from Monsters vs Aliens, the DreamWorks movie.
You got the DreamWorks Bob. You got the DreamWorks Mantis. You got all the other really memorable Seth Rogen characters. Pumbaa from the live-action Lion King. I think I don't know if they're poking fun at it though. I don't think this movie takes a stance on like anything. It's like, it's very self-aware of like what it's doing, but it's also just still doing that, and it can't take a stance on like what it's trying to comment on. So in the end, it just doesn't comment on anything. Yeah,
it's like the Deadpool problem, where it's literally like, it's meta and it's self-referential, but it's not doing anything with that. There's not really any jokes apart from, hey, you remember this thing? This is here.
Yeah. Hey, you remember Baloo from the live-action Jungle Book, right? I was like, no, not really, because it just looks like a bear. And then I was just like, yeah, you know what? When you don't have... It just makes me like... Not even nostalgia, but it's like... See what happens when you like don't... You sacrifice actual character design for just like a bear. If you put like the cartoon Jungle Book in front of me and like show me any of the characters, I'm like, yeah, that's that guy from Jungle Book. I don't even like really like that movie or know it all that well, but like the cartoon, the 2D animation, you know, you can't fault it for its like character design. But when you put like Baloo, the live action bear from the Jungle Book by Jon Favreau, it's like, it's just a bear.
Yeah, this was the kind of thing that when I was watching it and they said, oh, it's Baloo the bear, and then this animated real life looking bitch comes out, and I don't know, it was just one of those things. I just turned around and went, no, you're not Baloo, you're not
Baloo. Get away.
You look nothing like him.
And it was a shame about the Ugly Sonic thing, because like I'd heard about it before, like I'd watched the movie and I was like, oh, that could actually be quite funny if it's done well. And literally just the joke is that, hey, it's Ugly Sonic, and that's it.
That being the whole joke just doesn't make it funny though.
There's not really much in terms of like good jokes. I think I laughed a couple times, but never like more than just like a chuckle here and there. There's a lot of like really childish, unfunny jokes that I don't think anyone like over the age of 10 will find funny.
Yeah,
and it's like a real shame because there's like so much like great comedic talent behind this movie. Like Akiva Shevu directed it. He's like we said, he's done Hot Rod and Pop Star. They're both really funny movies. I like Andy Samberg and John Mulaney quite a lot. You got loads of other great comedic actors like Will Arnett and Keegan-Michael Key and Tim Robinson, who plays Ugly Sonic. We've just watched his sketch show on Netflix, and I think he's a really funny guy. And just none of them really do anything.
I swear there was only like one bit that made me laugh loads. And the problem I had with this movie is that something like that can make me laugh, but then I instantly forgot what I was laughing at. Did anyone else have that sort of effect on the film? Like,
this isn't a memorable movie at all.
Yeah, that's the problem. I thought, oh, maybe I'll remember it because I laughed that much. I couldn't tell you what I was laughing at. I actually don't.
No, I don't remember any lines from it, or like really, like the characters themselves. The plot is nothing. It's very boring and one note. Seen this kind of plot a million times. It's not so much about the plot. It's about, look at that one. I remember Flounder from The Little Mermaid. I remember Seth Rogen from Seth Rogen movies and his lame laugh that he always does. And that was a big problem I had. It's just like, they don't hire voice actors, they hire actors who use their same voice. So it's like, when you're listening to Chuck and Dick do their little voices when they're the chipmunks, it's like, oh, it's Andy Samberg. Oh, it's John Mulaney.
Yeah.
And I don't, like, if they want to convey a character, that's not happening. Because even if Andy Samberg just uses regular voice, it is also his kind of comedy that's going in there and his comedic sort of ways, I guess. Like how he tells a joke, it's like, it's very prevalent in this movie. It's like,
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like, yeah, it's like he's doing that in this, but he's a chipmunk.
Yeah, I kind of kept going through the film going, look, I can hear it's him. I can hear it's the other one. I can hear, you know what I mean? It was almost like, I don't know. I'm kind of bored of studios like casting like famous people just to get people to watch their films rather than people who actually can do voices and stuff.
Kids don't care. Like, they're not going to watch it and go, oh my god, it's Andy Samberg. I love that guy.
They don't know who the hell he is.
They're just going to watch it and go, oh, it's talking chipmunks. I love them.
It's for us, so we can say, I'm going to watch the Chip and Duck movie so I can review it on our podcast.
I like John Mulaney as well, but I don't think he's very good at voice acting. I don't think he was very good in this at all.
I don't think either of them were, to be honest, because I could still bloody hear them.
But yeah,
I don't
of
think
course.
they tried.
But I think John Mulaney's not great at like delivering lines in that way.
No,
I don't know if he's really an actor more than a comedian. You know, some people can do both really well, but I'm not sure he's that.
Yeah, I feel
at
like
least going off this alone, maybe he'd be in something else that'll prove me wrong. But
I don't know. He's got that kind of delivery where you can tell that he's a comedian because he's very like, there's like not much going on in terms of like, I don't know, like he just sounded the same no matter what emotion he was trying to pull. I was like, okay,
look at
you sound like him.
Spider-Ham from the Spider-Verse.
I remember feeling that way with Ray Romano in Over the Hedge. Like he doesn't put any emotion into his performance at all. He's just kind of Ray Romano.
Yeah, that's true actually.
That's what happens when you cast regular live action actors in like voice acting roles.
Yeah, I actually hate it. I honestly do. I just think it's so boring and overdone.
Yeah, some people can do it well. I mean, look at like Jeremy Irons in The Lion King. You'd like, that's like genuinely one of the best like voice performances in any film. But
yeah, that's hella cool. This isn't hella cool.
What also isn't hella cool about this film is the animation. A lot of it's like 2D, like it's 3D trying to emulate 2D, and it looks really, really ugly. Like anytime they're trying to go for this 2D effect, it looks like a video game adaptation of like a 2D product. Like it reminds me of this old Simpsons game that I had on my PlayStation.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It looks like very, very similar because it's like meant to look like cell shaded, but it's 3D at the same time.
It didn't really grip me in that way. Visually, it looks about how you sort of feel like it would look. It's like, I just don't gel with it. And it's also calls into question like all the stuff that you don't want to be thinking about when you're watching this kind of movie. It's like, how did the cartoon integrate with the live action within this universe, and like how do things work? And that's not really what I want to be thinking about when I'm watching a fucking dumb, lame movie about like chipmunks.
Yeah, it's not something that you should be thinking about either, really.
It's very much going for that Who Framed Roger Rabbit sort of thing where there's like live action people directing cartoons, and it works really well in that movie, but not in this.
It's like how these cartoons were like cast in movies. Peter Pan's like, I was cast in Peter Pan, but it's like, so like, were you not drawn for Peter Pan? Okay, so like you were born, or like how did they age and they can be erased with an eraser, with like rubbers you can just rub them out. That's easy to do if you just have a rubber with you. For some reason, that's the thing that you can do. They like erase Flounder's mouth and then ship him off to like make bootleg movies, and it's like, I guess it's just weird. It's a weird mishmash of like a lot of different things, and they don't congeal very well.
Yeah, the portrayal of Peter Pan, I don't know if you've heard about it, is incredibly controversial at the moment because basically the actor who played him in that movie was like a Disney star growing up, and after Peter Pan he kind of started to grow up a bit, so Disney like fired him, got rid of his contract, and then he couldn't get any other work because everyone just saw him as the Disney kid. And because of that, he like fell deep into drugs and alcohol and died when he was like in his late 20s, early 30s. And like them basically making him like this washed up alcoholic who got fired by Disney is like incredibly poor taste. So a lot of people are like really kicking off about it at the moment, which I think is pretty understandable.
Yeah, I actually, I mean, I didn't know anything about it until Chris told me, but
Bit dicey.
It's very, I mean, can I even go as far as to say I know Disney is heartless, but oof, you know? Like, I don't know, it's one of those things that I'm probably gonna get someone, I don't know, fucking tell me in the next couple of weeks or something, oh, I heard that you don't like Disney. And it's not the fact that I don't like Disney, I just think their company are inherently corrupt, and I just think they're disgusting people.
I don't like Disney. I think they suck. I think they're a shitty fucking company that does a lot of horrible things to people, and they make really subpar movies nowadays.
Yeah.
This is like just another one to add to the pile. I don't like them. I really don't like them.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I like genuinely really liked a Disney movie.
I think it's just really, I think it's just really sad. I feel like it's one of those things that you grow up and you're like, oh my god, Disney's so like great and amazing, and then like the longer it goes on for, it's like, you ever heard that saying about how if you don't die a hero, you live long enough to become a villain or something?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like Disney
I love
is.
that
Dark
saying.
Knight.
A really well known. Was it Shakespeare who said that? I think.
No, it was Jay-Z in the song Monster.
Right, that one. Thanks, Jay-Z, putting us all
Did
in our
he?
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it.
No, it might not
No,
be
he
a Monster.
didn't.
It's on that album.
Oh, I'm
He
not.
says Dark Knight feeling.
No, but
and then
I'm being
references-
serious though. I genuinely believe that once upon a time, pardon the pun there.
Chris Nolan's Batman trilogy had it right.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like I used to love them, and I still have a fondness for them. But I feel scummy supporting them, knowing that they're the company that they are.
Yeah, I mean, I still love the things they've done.
Yeah,
that are good.
I'm never going to
Yeah.
stop loving things like Beauty and the Beast
I like
and
the
Lady
good
and the
movies that
Tramp
they
and
made,
stuff.
but they're not making good movies anymore.
No, I guess you can. I guess you can love what it was and not what it is, I suppose.
And they're like a black hole that's consuming all the other companies and like, destroying other companies and
Yeah, they're
making it
kinda
harder for
scary.
people to make movies. I don't know. It's like it's a symptom of the times, and it's also like very prevalent within this chip and cunt movie where it's like,
Wow.
like, oh look, we're Disney, and Disney's actually a corporation in this movie, and it's like, we're doing all the stuff. Look how many properties we can put in our movie, and it's like, it's a sign of the times, but it's really exhausting.
Yeah, you know how people are talking about how they're getting like Marvel movie fatigue or whatever. I feel that way about Disney. I
Yeah,
can't.
well, Disney own Marvel.
Well, yeah, but like in general
Right?
speaking, like I don't get Marvel fatigue because I can't keep up with it. But Disney,
You
on the
can't
other
get Marvel
hand-
fatigue if you don't watch Marvel movies.
It's just- well,
That's
it's true.
fair. I feel like they're trying to say something about like live action remakes and the reboot culture. but
Maybe it didn't
it
really
is
say
a Disney
anything though,
movie, and
did
it's
it?
like, yeah, that's happening. It's like trying to capitalize off this trend that we're seeing nowadays. It's kind of driving like animation into the ground a bit. That we're seeing less 2D animated movies. We're seeing more, not even just like 3D animation, but like photorealistic 3D animation is what Disney seems to be trying for nowadays. It's, I don't know, I don't want to see these different types of art forms go away, but I would like at least this movie to take a stance on like what it thinks about the whole thing.
Yeah.
But there's sort of something you can't get with a movie that is like a Disney movie. Like they're the problem. Like they're the problem, and they're making a movie about how they're the problem. It's like putting the middle finger up at you while you're watching it. It's really annoying.
Yeah,
Dale gets his fucking CGI. I got the CGI surgery.
What's that even mean?
What do you mean? CGI surgery. Computer generated image. It's like that's like you can do that with 2D, right? You can computer generate an image through 2D animation. Like it's not. I guess it's like a term people would understand, like CGI surgery. Oh yeah, the CGI. Yeah. You can do that, and it looks like shit. Do
you know what? Yeah,
Dale looks like shit.
Don't you think, right?
It looks worse than the Alvin and the Chipmunks, and they try to like take the piss out of the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie in this movie, and it looks worse.
I just thought that Chip looked better than Dale, and Chip was supposed to be like this 2D like rendered flat thing, and he looked better than Dale did. I thought Dale looked like a weird freak of nature. I don't know. I think, to be honest, I'm a little bit of a purist. I really love 2D animation, and I really want it to like make a very much explosive comeback.
Yeah, but it's not gonna.
I know. It's just I just wish it would.
It's not gonna around here. You go to Japan for that.
Yeah, that's
They'll
true.
help you out with that, but not over here.
Yeah, maybe I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, like every
so
often you'll get a really great like 2D movie that's like fucking insane.
Yeah, like Wolfwalkers.
Yeah, Wolfwalkers was that, but
yeah, I think it's just one of those
I
things.
Lost My Body was like fantastic.
Yeah,
but you don't really get too many of them.
No, I think I can understand why they don't, because apparently like it's really time consuming, and it takes forever to do.
Yeah,
and you've got to have a lot of people on the
expensive.
team. It's more expensive, and I do understand it. I really do. But
yeah,
I don't want it to
nowadays,
go away though.
3D animation is easier than ever because they can use like AIs and stuff to
you can do
generate
anything.
a lot of shit where like
if
they
you've got
don't
the
really
money,
have
you
to
can
do
do
the
it.
work anymore.
You just get people to put on like a bodysuit with some golf balls on it, and they'll like make the movie for you.
Yeah,
and you can just like scan an image onto them.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't mind them doing. I don't mind.
No.
I don't mind it. I don't mind them doing stuff like this. But it's like, in terms of like the technical aspects, in terms of like how they animate things, it's just like understand what's happening to the industry. I don't know. Like, it's quite sad to me. I think, especially because like I want to see more great animated movies. I want to see more of these things, but I just don't want them to all be coming from Disney. Just let somebody else have a go. It's a shame.
I just wish if they were that they would go back to they're not gonna, but just the old format for only one movie. I'm begging, just one movie. Go back to your old format. I'd love it.
DreamWorks, step your game up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but
DreamWorks don't do 2D though, do they?
No.
I wish
anymore.
they would as well. I need someone
I just mean
to do
generally, we need more animation studios doing good stuff.
it. I just want one of them out there to do a 2D movie, and I'll be happy. Just one of them. Just one good one from someone.
You should watch Wolfwalkers.
I know, I should
Honestly,
actually.
You really should.
I don't think. Is there a way of watching it? I don't think there is there?
I've got the Blu-ray.
Maybe we'll just watch it.
I got all those Cartoon Saloon, their Irish folklore trilogy is really great.
Yeah,
they made like
good.
just consistently better and better movies in that trilogy. No, they're really worth the watch, honestly. But when movies are not like put in front of people and easy to access, they stop being watched. But people don't want to go out of their way to watch things. They just want to just be like, oh, what's on Netflix? What's on Disney Plus? What's on the front page? I can just turn that on. That's fine.
Oh yeah, it's also a bit like how that movie was on, what was it, Apple TV or something?
Yeah.
Who the bloody hell has Apple TV?
It's a shame because Netflix were actually doing some really good stuff with animation until they shut down their animation
We
division
liked that French
recently.
film, didn't we?
I Lost My Body.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that. You had that Klaus movie.
Klaus was great.
That was really good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that one.
They had this show I really loved called Green Eggs and Ham, like the adaptation of Dr. Seuss. That show was really great, and they just put out a second season, which I need to watch.
I even like the Cuphead show.
The Cuphead show was really good as well, yeah. And of course, Big Mouth. Everyone loves Big
that
Mouth.
one. That one's good.
Sure.
All those ones that they're doing.
You're forgetting the iconic
all the
one.
Big Mouth
but-
offshoots they're doing that look exactly the same.
Oh, Human Resources.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh, just give me another BoJack Horseman and I'll be happy.
Should we go on to ratings for the Chicken Dingle?
Yeah, I've realised we're not even talking about Chip and Dale anymore. Like, who the hell are they?
Yeah.
No, go on. Be free. What do you want to rate it out of?
Ugly Sonics.
Ugly Sonics.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, this isn't great. It wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like I said, it's definitely better than that last Space Jam movie and probably the first one as well, to be honest. But like,
Oh, wow.
the whole time I was just thinking of Who Framed Roger Rabbit and like how that was doing a lot of the same things it was going for, but so much better. Guess I give it like 4 Ugly Sonics out of 10. It's whatever. I've forgotten it already.
Yeah, I've forgotten it already. It's whatever. It was quite annoying. And it just doesn't hold your attention. It doesn't like demand your attention because the plot is like, we haven't even talked about the plot. It's like, you don't need to know what the plot
doesn't really
is.
have a plot.
No. It's just his Chick and Dale and they're doing stuff. Maybe you'll remember them from back in the day. And if you don't, you can watch the TV show. Here you go. 3, what was it? Ugly Sonics out of 10. Three of them.
Wow, this episode's really going down the count fast, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, I don't think I would have watched it if I hadn't been forced to watch it for the podcast. I have like no nostalgia for it, and yeah, it was okay. It was just kind of there. I mean, I was bored for like quite a lot of it. To which point Chris was like, "Are you okay? You're fidgeting," and I was like, "I'm bored." So, yeah, 4 Ugly Sonics out of 10.
Mm-hmm. I mean, speaking of like good animated stuff, I did watch Love, Death and Robots season 3. That just came out. And I urged you guys to watch it. You said, no, I don't want to watch fucking bullshit animation on Netflix. I'm not going to do that. So it was just me who watched it. It's weird, you know, because like Netflix is kind of axing a lot of its animation stuff, a lot of its animated projects. Or rather, they're also kind of taking on animated projects, but they're not directly funding their own like animated stuff anymore, which is a shame, honestly. I think they're kind of going down in everyone's estimations as of late.
Yeah.
Nobody's really taking them seriously anymore. It's a shame to see because they have produced a lot of good content, but
And they still are.
they still are. Yeah,
But for how long?
We're on rocky shores at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to get to the point where they won't be able to afford anything anymore.
Yeah, they've not got much left in them, I don't think.
No, but it was surprising to at least see another season of Love, Death and Robots greenlit. Is a show I really like. It's a show that basically showcases like little animated shorts that you can watch in like 10-minute, 20-minute chunks each episode. It's just a bit of fun. It's like sometimes a showcase for like interesting and diverse ranges of animation. Obviously, we just said about like how we don't see enough 2D animation. You get 2D animation in this show. I think sometimes though, it feels like they're just going for like, here's some 3D animation and like trying to make it a bit too photorealistic. Sometimes that could be a bit boring. You got David Fincher who worked on one of the episodes in this season.
Cool.
And there was a good episode. It was like a big crab goes onto a ship and like eats the people on it, and they've got to try and get the crab to somewhere before he eats them all. And that was David Fincher's one. It was quite dark and broody. I really liked it. I think it was one of the better ones. It did kind of it was kind of like his like a lot of kind of photorealistic animation though. It was like you could tell it was animated, but it was like almost tipping over. But generally, I thought it was quite interesting. And a lot of these, they're not like some of the best things ever. You're not like completely entertained the whole way through. But I do like seeing. I want a platform for these kinds of things going on. And I think it was weird because like in the first couple of seasons, I felt like it was more to do with like these independent creative artists who could come in and be like, here's what we can do with this, and like maybe somebody would see it and like greenlight a bit more work for them. I don't know. But then like you do see big names on this, like David Fincher, like Tim Miller and Jennifer Yu Nelson, who are just really huge names in the industry. And it's like, what going to happen to these like smaller studios that were coming in and like making these interesting works of art? So like it's like 9 episodes long. It's even like the weaker episodes are like fine. There was no like solidly bad episode. It was just like, I understand what you're going for with this. It was like a 2D animated one where like they're on one of the moons of Jupiter, and it's like a really nice like showcase for interesting. It was like a screensaver type thing. It's like, oh, they're going through it. Look at all the colors and all the like space stuff they can do, and like the dead astronaut is talking through the moon is like talking through a dead astronaut, and that's like really interesting. It's also nothing I haven't seen from Doctor Who, but it's animated and it was all right. It was not that bad. It's like there's so much to take from each individual episode, and I don't know. I think a few standouts were like there was one called Night of the Mini Dead. It was like 7 minutes long. It was basically about a zombie apocalypse, but it's like filmed from like really high up aerial shots. And like this couple is like fucking at a cemetery, and then like they get eaten by zombies, and then like it's like 7 whole minutes of like a zombie apocalypse, and it's like everyone's voices are like really high pitched and everything's going like really, really fast, and this whole like zombie apocalypse like happens and they have to destroy the world because of it. And it all happens in like 7 minutes, so it's like, fucking what the fuck was that? What happened there? That was crazy. I like this show a lot. That's why I was recommending it to you guys. You gotta watch this show, because I think there's just so much to take away from it, and everything's like directed by different people, so you get a lot of different influences and a lot of like, it never feels stale. It's like, oh, okay, that episode wasn't like the best, but now we go on to the next one, and you're guaranteed to find something completely different. There was one where like it's called Mason's Rats, where like this guy has like a rat infestation, and he's got to like hire like a bunch of high-tech equipment, and he hires like this scorpion robot to like kill all of the rats, and it's like really violent, but then like he makes friends with the rats, and like you see it from the rats' perspective, where they're like getting killed, and like no, brother, and like as the scorpion's like killing the rat. It's like a lot of really funny stuff like that. Because you can be like really, you can go for like so many genres here. There's no like one concrete thing. It's like, it's love, it's death, and it's robots, and it has to include one of those things. I think like in the earlier seasons they were going for like a bit more to do with like the sexual side of it, which is fine, honestly. That's fine. Honestly, I'm kind of gutted that like left it out, because now it's just like death and robots. It's like, okay, well, sometimes there'd be like sexual like love elements in there somewhere, but like I don't know. I don't know if that's really what they're going for now. I would like to see another season. I would like to see this show carry on, honestly. I think like the best one, what was the best one? It was like the very last one, which is called Jibaro. It was really a real sensory overload with like these knights who are like on horseback, and I think the presentation of it was so weird and unique. I can't even really describe it, but it was from a lot of it was from the viewpoint of this deaf knight, and then this like kind of siren lady comes out of the water and like screams, and like all the knights are like, oh fuck, and they're like running into the water, and like you don't know if like they're maybe trying to kill her to stop the noise, or like they're trying to like go to her because of like the siren song or something, and she's like all like bedazzled, like her entire body is like made out of jewels and gold and all that. And that was like, I think it was the best episode in the season, or maybe even the whole show, because it really kind of said something about like humanity and like the lived experiences of women. And like you get this deaf knight character who's like kind of like, because he can't hear her siren call, it's like he's kind of confused as to why everyone's like running away. Like he's not tempted by it. I'm gonna spoil it, sorry, but whatever, it's like 17 minutes long. Go watch it. And like she decides maybe this guy isn't that bad, so she like goes to like lay down with him while he's asleep, and then like it goes fucking crazy and nuts, where like he like tries to chase her, and like he's trying to kiss her, but like all the gold and jewels are like coming off in his mouth, so like he's like bleeding everywhere. It's honestly, it's really gruesome, and like I think that's why I liked it so much. It was like it's trying to say something, but it's also like it captures the heart of what this show is ultimately about. And it ends, it's like you get out of it, and it's like somebody who's been like smashing a cymbal against your head the entire time, because it's like, even though it's from the perspective of this deaf knight, it's so loud and it just takes over your entire sensibility and all your senses. It's like, fucking hell. And you're like, yeah, I think she was like torn apart at the end or something. Yeah, we were fucking crazy, honestly. This is a really good show. Do watch it. I know you guys haven't watched it yet, but you should watch it. There's like a lot to get from it, I think.
Yeah, we will get around to it eventually.
I think I talked about like the second season or the first season on this show, actually.
Yeah, he talked about the second one, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were like wrapping up TV from last year.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good. I want to see Netflix do more of this stuff. I want to see them greenlight more animated movies, and I want to see like this as like a platform for like, here's what you can do with animation, and here's like, you could give more opportunities to people through this kind of show. I think it's a very interesting type of show, and I think it's something that needs to exist in the cinematic landscape as we're seeing it today, so that we don't see the decline in animation. Sure, good show.
Nice.
Cool. Now we're getting on to some shit. We did Left Behind, the Left Behind trilogy, not the one with Nicolas Cage. I couldn't be bothered to watch that. Fucking hell. It's the trilogy of movies called Left Behind. Left Behind the movie is the first one. We were like, okay, Left Behind the movie.
Yeah,
Right.
Left Behind the movie from the year 2000, directed by Vic Sarin. The story is incredibly complicated for some reason. There's like 10 different things going on. So there's this guy called Buck William, who's a TV journalist who is just doing some shit, just investigating some stuff, I guess. At the same time, there's a guy called Rayford Steele, who's an airline pilot, who is cheating on his wife with a flight attendant. And then suddenly one day, a bunch of people just vanish. The rapture comes. People disappear. And the film kind of is about these two guys trying to investigate and find out why they've been left behind. And there's like some bad guy as well, who's like we find out to be the Antichrist. There's a lot of shit going down.
Yeah.
It's like impossible to concisely like describe this movie because it's just so all over the place.
Yeah, this one has about 5 different stories going on in it. It's just, ugh.
Fucking hell.
I don't know. I was really, really, really excited because I was really looking forward to watching these. And it was a bit like, remember how the other week we had one of those marathons and Mac was like, oh, I was really hoping to enjoy these, but I didn't. And that's how I felt this week.
I think that was Spy Kids.
Yep, and that's how I felt this week. I was the Spy Kids
This
kid.
is your Spy Kids.
This is my Spy Kids. Yeah, I'm pretty upset about it, if I'm honest. I was really hopeful for like the first 15 or 20 minutes. I thought, right, okay, this has potential. Like this has like potential to be really
hilarious.
Something hilarious and almost worth like talking about.
It was definitely going to be bad.
It dropped
we
fast
all knew that.
though. It really fell flat really quick.
I mean, there were definitely funny moments where it was like really, really bad. Like I thought when everyone first disappears, it's kind of silly. Like you got these like this woman on the plane who's like, "Oh, my husband's gotten up. I don't know where he's gone. Can you go look to the bathroom to find him?" This guy gets up to look for him and sees that his clothes are like perfectly laying out on the chair where he's supposed to be. And then there's like this shot of him opening up the toilet door and it just like zooms in on the toilet.
I don't think I did a really, really hearty chuckle until like the third movie.
Yeah.
Because God, he took them away. But he also knew to fold their clothes properly. And that's really good for him. This is, I feel, is it a movie? Are these movies made by Christians?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's by a company called Cloud 10 Pictures, and they made all 3 of them. They pretty much their entire career was just them making like end times, end of the world Christian movies. They made 16 movies between 1997 and 2010 when they shut down.
Isn't everybody in this film also like not an actor and part of the church?
Not everyone. A lot of the actors were literally just like volunteers from local churches. But you got Kirk Cameron, who
He's an actual
before-
actor.
Yeah, before
Okay.
this, he was like known for being in a bunch of like American sitcoms, and then as soon as he was in this, for the rest of his career, he was basically just in nothing but like really low budget Christian movies and weird shit.
So is he? I guess he's also a Christian,
Yeah,
I suppose. Oh, okay, well,
I feel like you just have to be, right?
to be in this
To make
film, I
all
feel
these
like you
movies,
do.
you just have to be really hardcore Christian, because like I just don't know that you could like stomach it to like if you didn't believe any of this stuff that was going on. I don't know.
I think it's a little bit
It's one of those.
hammy in that kind of sense. Like if
It's
you
like
did
trying to push
the
like a
Christian
narrative.
yeah.
It's like it's not a movie that's made to explore themes. It's a movie that's made to explore the beliefs of these people, and that's fine. Honestly, that's all right. But it doesn't do anything with it. It's like it's just like an hour and a half of like, and you don't get anything out of it. It's just like if you're not, I don't even know if you could enjoy this if you were Christian. To be honest, if you were like, if you were right thinking, I don't know. Cause it feels like these feel like the kind of movies with a really hardcore fan base, but like outside of that niche, I don't know who it's going for.
I'm not a Christian, but I feel like if I feel like these movies are quite insulting, because I feel like it almost it's kind of preachy, but it also kind of like takes a jab at like, oh, are all Christians like this? Are they always, you know what I mean? Like it's all like you have to believe in Jesus or you're going to hell and all this other kind of stuff. And I don't really think modern day, I know this was made like in like 22 years ago, but I don't think people nowadays really have like that really, really strong like sense of if you don't believe in Jesus, you're definitely going to hell.
you'd
Do you
be
know what I mean?
surprised. This film, I don't think
but
is
I feel
trying
like
to
they're
take
more
a jab
open,
at
don't you
that at
think?
all.
I
think
dunno.
this film is sincerely like believing that.
No. I mean, no. I'm saying like they do believe in that, but I think they're taking a jab at how like, I don't know. Like if it was me watching that and I was Christian, I'd be like, fucking hell. Do people really think that I'm like this? Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's just a bit much. You know?
Obviously you've got like it's the same with like any religion. You've got the people who are like very rational in terms of like thinking, and then you've got other peoples who are like, you have to believe this, otherwise you're damned for all eternity. And like they're the people who are going to love this. It's not really for anyone other than incredibly devout Christians who
In America.
in
I feel like
America.
it's very American.
Yeah.
It's
And,
all America, because it's all
do you know what I mean?
it's like an Armageddon type thing. So you would expect it to go like all around the world, but it focuses pretty much entirely on America.
Yeah,
And you get like one bad guy and he's Russian.
yeah, you get like the
Like,
one
oh, no.
reference that I think is in the second film, or might even be in the third film, where they actually reference the other countries that people have been
that one's
taken
called
from.
World at War, so of course it's got to reference other countries.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, well,
Call of Duty World
yeah.
at War.
Yeah.
I've wanted that experience from it, but it was not.
Call of Duty Tribulation Force.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking, I don't know. I didn't nobody like everybody disappears, but nobody notices people disappear. They just happen to like all be asleep on this plane. It's like these people
All
have
at the same
disappeared. It's just
time,
like,
yeah.
where did my son go? And this one guy is like, oh my god! Like immediately he sees like everyone's clothes. He's like, I'm getting off the plane. I've got to get out of here. It's like, sir, we are 10,000 feet above the ground. Like you can't.
Yeah,
you can't do
you're
that.
just going to die.
I gotta get off this plane now. This guy's insane. This guy's an idiot. Maybe everyone's an idiot. They left behind all the idiots
Yeah.
who would willingly jump out of a plane.
Yeah, they deserve to stay behind.
Yeah.
They deserve to get left behind.
I don't really understand the film's logic in terms of like how they think the world would like completely crumble apart if
Yeah.
these people just vanish.
I thought it was like they were trying to go for like an Infinity War type Thanos snap. But it's like if all the Christians vanished, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, like, I don't want to split. I don't want to like take punches at anyone, but like, I feel like the world would just be fine.
Yeah, maybe
I feel
now.
like the society would not collapse.
yeah.
I just don't think that would happen.
Yeah, I don't know if like there was a greater, like larger amount of Christians back when this movie came out than there is now. Because I know a lot more people are probably
Maybe,
atheists
yeah.
nowadays. But still, I can't imagine the world would completely fall apart if this one religion vanish, because there's still so many people from other religions or non-believers.
No, right, yeah, because let's get at one thing as well. There's roughly 6 billion people in the world or something, give or take, right? 7, okay. And I remember in the last film they said that there was probably only about 170 million that had gone. That's not that many people.
No.
Maybe in 2000 it was, but that's actually not that many people.
Back in 2000, we were living in the Stone Age, and we had like 20,000 people in a city. I don't know. It's just like, what are they trying to say here?
I think they're just trying.
What are they trying to communicate? Are they trying to like convert people? Because if they are, they're doing a piss poor job. You don't convert people with material this boring.
No,
it's insanely boring.
I kind of don't understand it either, because it's giving me the impression that if I'm not a believer, I get to stay and live on Earth, but if I'm a believer, I have to die young or die right now.
I feel like they're also trying to make people treat the film super seriously by throwing in all this like other stuff, like this conspiracy, like political thriller angle as well, about like the world going to war, which just feels like so pointless in the grand scheme of the story. Just kind of adds to this story that it just doesn't need to be there.
That's how they got to bulk out those 16 books, right?
You like how like on the plane there's like clearly a guy in a turban there, like maybe he's Sikh, but they like spend an unnaturally long time with a shot on him after everyone's disappeared. It's like, this guy he got left behind.
I must have not. I definitely did pay attention to that.
I was like, fucking hell.
There's a hilarious bit in the Nick Cage movie where there's a guy with a turban who everyone thinks is like a terrorist.
Oh my god.
There's like, I wish I watched that movie. I think it might be Vern Troyer keeps calling him a terrorist. And it's like this shot where he's like got something in his bag, and like Vern Troyer's like, oh my god, have you got a gun? Have you got a gun? And he like whips out, and there's like a hard cut, and there's like this gunshot in another scene. And then, like, the next scene, it cuts back to him and he's, like, just holding a banana or something.
Brilliant.
It's really, really funny.
I've got to watch that movie, I swear to God.
What?
Yeah.
I
was thinking a lot about like Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds in this.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like, just kind of the same sort of thing. There's, like, a lot of people are dying and, like, just, like, they just kind of got to get by and, like, see how society copes with like the loss of so many people, and but also there's aliens. There are aliens.
I thought this would have been cooler with aliens.
This is one. If they put aliens in it, then it would have been like War of the Worlds, pretty much. But it's like War of the Worlds without the interesting aspect, so it's just like really boring. It's like they were all left behind, and now they've got to, I don't know, go back to work maybe. I gotta like,
yeah, everyone just goes about living their kind of life, but they're all like kind of just scared of getting like abducted or whatever, because there's like loads of theories going around about what's actually happened because they don't really know. So yeah, everyone's just kind of getting on with their day, but they're like hiding being cupboards and stuff like that. It's just really, really bizarre, because if the rapture was coming, if you're going, you're going, you know? Hiding's not going to change it.
Why do they decide to like become Christian then? It's like we got left behind because we're not Christian.
Oh,
I guess now we'll be Christian.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They have that priest guy who gets left behind, and he's kind of explaining the whole idea of the rapture in the Bible, and apparently the initial people who get taken up are obviously the believers, and it's kind of like a test for everyone who's left behind and those who kind of change their ways or devout themselves. When God comes down, they'll be taken back with him.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of like if you don't get taken up now, if you don't change your ways, you're not coming on the next round of raptures.
If you don't come with me next time, then you're fucked.
It's round 2.
I find it was really a bit weird though, because I feel like if you've been an atheist like your whole life, or is it agnostic?
Agnostic?
Yeah, or something like that. Are you really just going to go into the bathroom like Buck did and go, oh God, I've never prayed to you before, but I believe you're real now? And I'm like,
yeah, what? I love Buck's realization where he's just like, oh my God, it's all true. The rapture is real. And then he suddenly like the biggest Christian ever.
It would take so much to convince me that was like
Yeah.
what was
Even
happening.
a rapture, don't think would convince me. I don't know. Maybe
I mean, if you can't already
if
tell,
I saw it for real, maybe.
I'm not particularly religious.
No.
But it would just like if this kind of thing happened, religion would be the last thing on my mind. I don't know. I just wouldn't think about it at all. It's like something's happening. I don't know. It's not the rapture. It was like just a bunch of people who like definitely didn't believe in God beforehand. They were like, "Oh man, I guess it's real because that guy, that priest who was left behind, he said it was real."
Yeah, because if I don't know if that happened in real life, I would just almost ignore it. But maybe then again, I don't know. Maybe God is actually looking down at us and thinking, "I'm going to smite all three of you so bad."
I wanted them to like cut to like I don't know, like Japan or something, and everyone's just like living their life. Like everything's completely fine in Japan, or like the UK.
Yeah. What about the countries that are not predominantly Christian? Like
'Cause America-
3 people disappear, and they're like, "Oh, where have they gone?" And no one really questions
Yeah, I mean
it.
it is very like American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's just kind of their thing. I don't know. That's their country's motto or whatever you call it, their national anthem, and like they've got like God on their money there and all that. It's very much like church and state type thing.
Yeah, but obviously if they cut to another country where nothing's changed and it kind of goes against the narrative of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that. Not in a Christian movie.
Well, like that is like a post-credit scene, just like an Asian family eating like dinner or something. Like nothing's happening.
That would have been fantastic.
They'd just be fine. You got who's the guy? Nikolai, played by Gordon Curry, who's the villain. He's the prophesized Antichrist, and he's Russian. And he's the only one. I think he's the only one in here who isn't American. Pretty
Yes.
sure.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
although he's played by Canadian.
Yeah,
who-
Gordon Curry is like who plays him. He's Canadian. His accent is a bit pitchy.
It's terrible, actually.
bit.
I would argue.
It's a bit iffy.
Yeah, it's terrible. And it doesn't even get better over these 3 movies.
No, it might even
But-
get worse.
Yeah, and there's like, between the first film and the third film, it was a period of 5 years, and he clearly did not practice the accent.
I swear there was a bit in that third movie where he actually sounded like his normal voice, and then he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm meant to be
fuck.
Russian."
Yeah,
and,
there was a
and then
couple
he had
of bits there.
it was like halfway through a sentence, and then his accent changed.
It's like getting out a lot of y sounds in the dialect there. It's like American, like all like the y sounds that you like the stereotypical Russian accent would have.
Yeah.
Captain, like that,
To think,
that kind of
to
thing.
think he was the one who did the best Russian accent. I would love to
Yeah.
have heard what the other ones were.
You could have just hired a
Russian
Russian
actor.
But I don't know if a Russian person would like actually want to do this if like they're like the only Russian person there and they're being painted as the villain.
Yeah, Daddy Antichrist.
Yeah, and they're the Antichrist. Oh, okay. Never
Actually,
mind.
yeah, no, actually, that is a thought. Now that you've brought it up, I'm thinking, that is it's questionable, really.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like the Christians who have like, by the traditional religious standards, sinned but not repented for it. Like, do they get a free pass to heaven, or like just because they're Christian, or like do they get left behind? Like, how does it work?
I think they have to repent.
Right.
It's a good question, actually.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
There's that priest guy who got left behind. I think it was weird. I don't know.
Well,
What if like the babies and the children get taken up to heaven? It's like, what if one of them was just a dick?
Yeah.
There's like not one child in this movie after they get left behind.
Yeah.
What if one of them
like,
was just a bit of a dick?
what if one of them's like killed a bunch of animals and there's like a future serial killer?
yeah, but I guess you could use the logic
Well, it
that
doesn't matter because like the animals get left behind too.
Yes,
'Cause-
there's like
So-
multiple shots of just dogs on their own with like their owner's clothes around them.
No, what did they do? Why
So-
did they get left behind?
for me, this was actually the most triggering
Yeah.
part of the whole movie. I thought, dogs go to heaven. There's literally a movie about
Yeah,
it. Dogs,
all dogs
go
go
to
to
heaven.
heaven.
They go. Why does
No.
God just not like dogs?
No,
He made dogs, supposedly. So why doesn't he like dogs?
they're the original
Right now.
sinners.
If he's up there
They're the worst ones of them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have premarital sex.
and they shit in the street,
Yeah, but
I'm not about that. I actually think it's really rude not to take your dogs to heaven. Just
Yeah.
saying.
yeah, I don't know. I think there was like a part Well, like at the beginning of the movie, Buck is like got this camera, and then this Hebrew guy comes up and he starts like speaking Hebrew to him, but he's like actually speaking English to him. He's like, I understand. And then like he goes to this like facility where he like watches the video back, and the guy speaking Hebrew is like, that's insane. He was speaking English to me before. What did that matter?
Do you know what
I guess he's like meant to be like this savior figure that God has chosen.
I was actually thinking that he was supposed to be the Messiah.
Yeah.
At one point, because I thought, how does he know Hebrew if he's never learnt it or knows it? How does he know that?
Ah, but there's only one Messiah, Darcy, and that's Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
The new Messiah.
Yeah.
Messiah 2.
Messiah 2, Tribulation Force.
Messiah on Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know. If they're not going to go anywhere with that. And they kind of don't, really.
I feel like they set up a lot in this movie that never goes anywhere. Like the whole affair that the
captain.
The captain's having with that flight attendant. That
and it don't matter because his wife gets sucked up into the rapture heaven.
My wife was so good. She wore a cross around her neck. And I got left behind because I was sleeping with the flight attendant.
That's a really funny bit where they go to his house and there's like just a zoom in on the cross.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I thought it was really weird when he was reading the Bible as if he'd never seen that Bible in the house before. Like, you were married to this woman for probably X amount of years. What? Why was he like, she was a Christian? Even though, and then he later on in the film he's talking about how she used to go on these like Christian rants and stuff like this, and I just thought, you already knew that. What? I don't know. I just didn't understand this character. I just
his
thought,
wife gets taken away, his son gets taken away.
Yeah.
He's left with his filthy, sinful daughter to wait out the rest of eternity.
Yeah, I felt bad. I felt bad for her. To be fair.
Yeah.
What did she do? She didn't have an affair with a stewardess.
Well, they say, like, have you ever thought about a woman in like the second movie or the third movie? They're like, have you ever thought about a woman lustily? And he's well, who hasn't? He's like, you have committed sin, my friend. So I don't know, maybe she was horny one time. Maybe that's why she got left behind.
What? So God just knows everyone's like thoughts
you've ever been
and stuff
horny,
as well.
We're fucked, mate.
Oh no, everyone going to hell.
The asexuals are fine.
No, because they're the gluttons.
Oh my god.
There's loads of sin that you can commit. And everything's a fucking sin.
I'm pretty
was that
sure,
Simpsons quote or like Reverend Lovejoy's like, you actually read this thing? Like, everything's a sin.
Yeah, like there's like sins about like wearing like cotton and things about like eating shrimp and stuff. Like everything's a sin. Like everything.
Wearing socks to bed.
That is an actual sin though. I actually think that does belong in the Bible.
You're insane, Darcy. What if it's a really cold night and my tootsies get cold? Huh? What about then? You have no answer for me because you know I'm right. And that's why you're being left behind. Ratings for Left Behind, the movie, the
I had a couple other things to say about it.
Fucking hell.
No, you don't, Chris.
The music sucks.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
There's like a lot of the music's like very Passion of the Christ-esque. There's like this bit early on where there's like this really dramatic music playing as these like airplanes explode in the sky, and it just suddenly cuts to like this shot of Chicago where this like really hyper like loud pop music is playing.
Yeah, I didn't gel with the music in any of these movies.
No.
They're all composed. I'm so sorry. Composed by like different people throughout. You couldn't tell because it all sounds very stock. It's like really over dramatic. A lot of the time it can be like very overbearing, and it doesn't help when people are like mumbling their lines either.
Yeah.
Visually, the film I think looks really shit as well.
Disgusting.
The director has a larger resume in cinematography than directing, but like the cinematography especially looks really bad. Like the framing of so much of it looks so terrible, and like there's really bad camera angles throughout. I don't think it helps that the transfer that's on Amazon Prime that we watched was pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's quite stretched out. Yeah,
it was probably like before it was in like 4:3 or something.
Yeah, I don't think that's the film's fault that it was jolty.
There was a shot where like there's someone's at the door and like you can see outside and it looks foggy, but it's clearly like sunny because like the sun's hitting their faces from the outside, and they go outside and it's not foggy and it's just like a day.
Bright light.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. A lot of like they couldn't white balance it, or like it was just too overexposed in certain shots. Really disgusting like costume design and like just a lot of grey and beige that people were wearing. It was horrible to look at. It was a really ugly movie.
Yeah, I can't say I noticed any of the costumes really.
Exactly, of course you didn't, because it's all disgusting.
Yeah, it's not a good looking movie. The last thing I wanted to bring up, I was reading through the Wikipedia page while we were watching the movie, and there was just like this random quote from this person who worked at a zoo that hired out the animals. And I don't know why, but I found it really funny. He's like talking about how they use camels at the beginning of the movie, like to kind of sell the look of it being like a desert. And he was like saying that without them, the movie would have been a disaster. And he was quoted as saying there should be at least one camel in every movie.
I mean,
I'm behind that.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, he was like, camels are great. You can move them around, you can stick them there, and you see a camel on sound, you know it's desert.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Trying to tell me that Spy Kids 2 is not heightened by the use of camels.
Yeah, I'm confused by this man, but I'm not disagreeing with
I respect the hustle. I understand.
And are we
his
gonna
passion.
Rate this one out of camels then?
Okay, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a really terrible movie. Like we said, it's based on a book. I think we brought it up. It's like based on like this really huge, long-running book series. And the writer of the book actually filed a lawsuit against the film company, claiming a breach of contract because of how bad the movie and the sequels were.
You can't sue because of how bad it is.
Yeah.
I would.
But yeah, he then ended up actually being hands-on with the Nick Cage movie, which arguably is just as bad.
I don't know, you made it sound really funny.
It's really, really funny, but like, if I was to be critical, I'd probably say it's probably worse, but
wow.
Whatever.
I don't really know how that's possible, if I'm totally honest with you.
1 camel out of 10, this film's terrible.
I think it just has nothing to say past like what I've heard people like try to sell me on the street. I don't know. There's like a point like the other day where me and Darcy were accosted by some Jehovah's Witnesses, I guess.
Yeah, we haven't brought up that Nikolai looked like one of them.
Yeah, Nikolai looked like one of the guys who was trying to get us to meet them in
twins.
like a weird location. I'm like, no thanks, I'm not going to do that. I feel like, I don't know, like it wants us to be Christian. Maybe it's trying to tell us to love one another, but like only if you become Christian. Is it like trying to say that like being good and kind means nothing if you're not Christian? Because like you get a lot of like nice people in this, but they are ultimately left behind. It's like, okay, well I kind of grew out of being Christian. Whatever. Like, one camel out of 10. It's really bad. It's way worse than I thought it could ever be, and that's saying something.
I'm quite disappointed with my experience of Left Behind. I kind of wish we had left it behind and not watched it. I'm sorry, I'm still not a believer, but I'm going to give it a 3 camels out of 10, actually.
Because it kind of converted you a bit.
No, it just got me talking about spirituality a lot.
It got you thinking.
It did. It got me thinking about how little I believe.
Converting.
To consider it.
And then the other 2 just like put you off it completely.
Yeah. Speaking of the second one, it's the second one. I'm not going to describe the plot. Who gives a shit? It's Tribulation. Left Behind 2, Tribulation Force. I think they like band together to make the Tribulation Force and try to defeat Nikolai, who's the Antichrist. It's directed by Bill Corcoran, and it came out in 2002. It is just as bad. It might be a tiny little bit better because like maybe there's a few more laughs in it, but ultimately it's very it is kind of the same type of message. All of these movies have the same message, but like, so like if you just watch the one movie, then like whatever. But what does it matter? That was a strange sound.
I have a sweets at the moment. I let Darcy have a bite, and she clearly is not having a good time.
It tastes like chemicals. I hate when Chris buys like these off-brand like sweets.
The Bebetos.
They're horrid.
Yeah, this film sucks.
Oh yeah, this film is not good. Sorry, I'm back to speed now.
Nothing really happens though.
No,
they like decide to make the Tribulation Force. That's like the big thing that they do,
and that's it.
I think that's it. That happens about 20 minutes in.
Yeah, the bit where they do the Force stuff, and then the bit right at the very end. That's it. They could have done this film in half an hour.
This is like 96 minutes of the same scene happening over and over again. Like, I hated the first movie, but at least stuff actually happens. Like,
I agree with that.
Incredibly
It had a plot.
boring, but it has a plot as convoluted and pointless as it ultimately is.
Things do
But
happen. Things
I feel
progress.
like the second and third movie are literally just like the same scenes repeating over and over again with no real progression or plot development or even character development. There's just nothing really going on.
I think the ending was probably the most interesting part when they hired that rabbi to go and speak about how Nikolai couldn't be God because the real Messiah was Jesus. And everyone was like, yeah, Jesus Christ! And everyone was like cheering and shit.
And you got the bearded guys like breathing fire onto soldiers.
Yeah, that was cool actually. That was sick.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like that.
I think that was it really.
It was one. Yeah,
Totally
it
honest.
was like the Hebrew guys who breathe fire. It was like that point where was it? Oh, what's his name? Buck. I was going to call him Dale then.
Dale.
Buck was like, I'm gonna go into like the place, and then his mate's like, don't do that because they'll kill you and they'll shoot you. And he's like, don't worry, God will protect me.
Actually, yeah, that was.
I don't know about that if they're going to protect you against bullets, but then like he kind of does.
That was a true line.
There's like a girl who comes out and she's like, she's got superpowers or something. She's like singing the national anthem. How do I remember this? I'm not like, I haven't even got this written down. She comes out there singing the national anthem, and then like the soldiers are like frozen in place, and they're like, oh no, I'm stuck by the power of America. I don't know. And then like they just walk through, and it's like, I guess it worked.
I actually think that bit was actually iconic. Why was like, how does that even work?
There's like multiple scenes in this film where it's literally just characters trying to convert non-believers, and like the arguments make no sense. Like, I feel like they're so hollow. Like, there's this guy who like explains, like, he's like, sunsets and nature, these are all things that can't be explained, so they must have been created by God. That's like pretty much a direct quote where he's like just explaining that nothing in the world can be coincidence. It all has to have been created by God.
Because he's like, it's the only thing that makes sense. And I think, is it the only thing
These
that
are a
makes
few
sense?
of my favourite things. You're clearly not believers in like chaos theory.
No, actually, to be honest though, I think it was at that point that I went, is that a thing?
Sunsets, yeah, to be
Could that have been God?
he's making a fair point, to be honest.
Because I think I said something along the lines of, because someone would instantly say, it could be science, and then someone would go,
science.
He created science or something. Like, I went to school with someone who didn't believe that evolution was real because God is real, if that makes sense. So we were like, what? So evolution of humans isn't real? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay.
What?
Yeah, she doesn't believe in evolution because she believes in God. That was a genuine thing that happened, and everyone was really uncomfortable because no one really wanted to say anything. But I was just sitting there thinking, I want to leave right now.
But it's like, these people have free will. It's like, what about science? God created science, but it's like, God didn't create the decisions that you made, though, because that was you.
No,
but like people made decisions to create science, I guess.
Do you know what the weirdest thing is, right? There's the I learned about it a little bit in philosophy, so to speak, when I was doing A-level, is the theory that God has already decided all of the choices that you're going to do throughout your life before you're created. So therefore, if you do something shitty, it's because it was God's will for you to do something shitty. And I don't understand how that works, though, because
God made us determinists.
Life is a simulation.
Why would God do that to you if he didn't want anyone to, like, live in bad times? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to be, like, good and peaceful, but if he's already decided that I'm going to be a cunt...
He's in sandbox mode.
What does it mean?
If he's decided that people are going to be non-believers, like if he decides like everything they do, like he just decided, you know what, these guys, I don't actually want them to come back into heaven. I want them to not believe in me. Actually,
you know what? The next time I get a Jehovah's Witness come up to me and ask if I want to go to church, I'll say it was actually God's will for me not to be a believer.
No, I don't know. Like, I don't. Well, I just said no to those guys. Just like, no thanks.
Well, no,
I really didn't know what to say after that. It's just like, yeah, no thanks, I'm not going to do it.
No, I love
like,
it.
oh, okay.
Instantly turn around and go,
Yeah.
do you want to go? And I'm thinking, if I'm standing with this guy, do you really think that I'm going to go with you?
I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Do what you like. I don't appreciate like being like just like out in the daytime and just like I'm on my way to doing something or something. I'm like minding my own business and let some people come over and go, do you want to like have you considered God? And it's like you're like preaching like this shit into the ground. It's like it's been around since forever and always. Well, not forever and always. It's like it's I guess it's one of the newer religions in terms of religions. But it's like, yeah, who hasn't heard of like Jehovah's Witnesses? Who hasn't heard of like, I mean, believe what you want to believe in. That's all fine and good. I just like, but it's in like movies like this, prepare to be, you know, annihilated by like critics and have like all this shit torn apart, because it's just, above all, it's not an entertaining movie.
No,
that's the cardinal sin. It's like you can have a movie that preaches your beliefs in it. You know, you can have a movie that has a lot of like what you believe in and how you were like raised, or like the thoughts that are in your head. That's what all good movies should be. But when you make it something that's trying to preach to people or like trying to convert people and actively tell others that they are wrong for what they believe and you are right for what you believe, based on I don't know, like if anything that's not based entirely in fact. But these people do think that what they believe is fact. I guess that's why they believe it.
I guess it's because anyone who believes in anything would believe it to be fact, right? It's just kind of how we believe things. If we think it's real, we're going to believe it.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, I would actually be very, like, curious to go to one of those things and see, like, what they actually talk about when they are...
I just think it would be really
things
boring.
that they do. That's the problem,
I think
though.
It's like nothing you couldn't get from, like, a documentary. That like, there's just, like, countless documentaries that have been made about this kind of thing.
Maybe. Actually, maybe I could just watch one of those. It's just... I think I would have preferred it if it was one of those films that preached to me, but in a way that was actually kind of entertaining. And I see where they're coming from, because if you think about it, they are trying, quote unquote, to make it entertaining, but it's not.
Well, I like a movie like First Reformed that like tackles different themes of like different religious themes and like tries to explore religion in such a way that's like maybe like here's the things that are pretty good, and like here's the things like maybe you should think a bit more about. And that's a really like, it's quite a dark movie, I think. And that, I think for what this is going for, it's kind of like it has nothing more to say than like what these people who are making it believe outright, and like and in that sense there's nothing to take away from it, you know.
Yeah, I just kind of wish
other
that
than like these people believe this is what could or would happen.
Yeah, and I wish that in these movies someone who converted, so to speak, would tell me why they did or what it is that they believe in, you know, like Jesus's intentions and all this kind of other stuff, but they never really explain why they're Christian or why they have these beliefs or what it is that Jesus has actually done, apart from died for our sins, because that was a thing that happened at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
But is the only reason I'm meant to love him is because he died for the sins that I haven't or already have done. So I'm supposed to be like, thanks, Jesus. And, you know, if that's the case, thanks, Jesus. But
the thing is, I don't know if you get movies like this from any other religion. You don't get like people preaching to you through the medium of film, or like in anything that like tries to invade your space, like people who approach you on the street. I've never got that from anyone who wasn't like a Christian. And I'm not like trying to shit on the religion or whatever, you know. It's like I'm just thinking like this is the only time that I've ever like had these kinds of things like forced upon me.
Yeah,
is people from
in in my own... see,
I don't want to...
Yeah, this is a complicated thing to get around, because my personal thinking is that we currently live in a climate where if this did happen in another religion and someone came up to me and said something along the lines of, have you thought about... oh shit, I don't know any other gods. Like,
Ganesha.
Yeah, or would you like to consider being of the Muslim faith? I don't think that would end well, because I think we live in one of those countries where but if you went up to someone and asked them to change their religion to something not... I basically what I'm trying to say is I just don't think it would end well, because we are horrific people who would probably stamp on your neck.
They have a lot of like a lot of zeal for like the catastrophic, you know, and like the Armageddon side of it. It's like, and the world will end in fire, and it's like everything has to be like very over the top.
I'm cool with that though. I think
if it's handled fine,
though,
then it's handled fine. But then like, do you get movies like, I don't know, like the last Temptation of Christ, which is like it's very kind of held back in that way, and it's just like about exploring themes and ideas. But with this, it's like it's not exploring anything.
No, there's like going back onto the movie. There's like this weird love story going on between Buck and Chloe. Like, it makes no sense. Like, it seems like really, really forced. There's like this whole drama that goes on for like 10, 15 minutes where like she's like, Chloe's like really enraged at Buck because she thinks he's engaged for some reason. And she's like, I won't speak to him. You gotta speak to him for me and see what he wants. And he's like, what the fuck? I just want to talk to you.
She's like really petty. Like the phone goes off. She goes, I'm not answering that.
Not even going to try to speak to him. Maybe it's wrong. No. She's just like, she doesn't even like ask him about it when she sees him. She just like full on goes into a rage about it. It's like, you know what you did. Yeah. She's like, what are you talking about?
And then like when he's like, I'm not engaged to anyone, then they're like all happy and they're getting photos taken together in photo booths.
Yeah. It's a real Amelie moment.
Yeah. They got this like love story where they're all in love and taking photos while the world is about to collapse.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, who of us would not go to a photo booth if the world was coming to an end?
Yeah. I feel like in this film, it's like the one out of the trilogy where things seem the calmest. Like, in terms of what's going on in the world, it seems like nothing has really changed. Yeah. It seems like pretty normal.
Yeah, because at the end of the first one, he was talking about how like the next 7 years are going to be like the worst thing ever. But then the movie continues. Yeah, and everyone's just kind of like doing their thing, really.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to tee up everything for the ultimate episode.
Yeah, like the calm before the storm or something.
The third one, Tribulation Force, I. And yeah, I think it's like, I don't want to laugh at these people who are like, every time they thank God, I like laughed. I was like, fucking, they're doing such a weird, stupid, hammy way. It's like, every time they cry to like, oh God, thank you, God. It's like so stupid and funny, but it's like, that's not inherent with that kind of thing. Like, I was thinking of like Magnolia, like the scene in Magnolia where John C. Reilly's like lost his gun and he's like crying to God, and it's like, it's so upsetting. But with this, it's so funny. It's stupid, and I think it's just like, it's the way that these lines are handled. It's just the way like the delivery and like the writing, it just doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, this is what I mean when I say I feel like it's almost come full circle. Like, it's supposed to be a serious film, but I feel like they're just taking the piss out of themselves. And I know they're not, but that's what it feels like. Because when you watch this, you can't help but think, that's really funny. But you shouldn't, because it's not meant to be funny. It's meant to be serious. But it just doesn't feel it.
That's where you want to get your respite from, though. Because it's so boring otherwise. So I have to laugh at it. Otherwise, I'm going to go insane.
That's fair.
I think out of the trilogy, this one probably had the least like funny moments. Like, there is this one bit where someone touches Nikolai, and he like, there's like this jump scare where he turns into this like demon, and that's like really funny. But the rest of it's just so boring.
I like the fact that never happened in the rest of the like trilogy either. He just did it the one time when everyone went, oh, that's what it is.
I thought this was funnier than the first one, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't.
No, neither did I.
Just like, I don't know, the moments. The Hebrews breathing fire was like a big one for me.
That was really funny.
And when the guards got frozen, that was funny. It's like, you can pinpoint it down to like this moment and this moment and this moment, and the rest is just like a wash of grey and beige and brown.
Basically, when they try and make like some action related thing, that's when it's funny because it's just so bad.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they felt the need to make this one. Because well, if they did, they could have made it shorter because it just really it's too long for nothing.
Yeah,
There's
96 minutes of nothing.
Yeah, and it's not even that long. 96 minutes isn't really that long, but it did feel like it was about 3 hours long.
Well, it goes to show, when you handle your time correctly, you can make a movie that's like 4 hours long. If you use each minute or like 10 minutes correctly, it feels like a breeze.
Yeah, I mean, you just brought up Magnolia. That's 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Does not feel like it at all because it's so entertaining. Every scene's so like fast paced and feels like necessary to what's going on.
Yeah.
So it just flies by. But this is like just cracking an hour and a half, just under an hour 40, and it feels so bloated and long.
It's just every movie that we watched, we were like clicking the OK button, see how long was left, and it was just like the groaning, and it was just horrible. It was like a slog. Isn't even the word. Like I thought, like the Bourne movies were like a slog. I thought the Spy Kids movies were a little bit of a slog. This was like this was the worst one. 100% the worst one.
Ratings?
Sure, we'll do it out of fire-breathing Hebrews.
Yeah, this sucks. It's just, I don't think there's anything else to add. I give it one fire-breathing Hebrew out of 10.
No, it's broken us. It's broken the podcast.
I'll give it one fire-breathing Hebrew out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother explaining. One fire-breathing Hebrew.
One of the two fire-breathing Hebrews. They were friends. They were husbands.
They can't be husbands.
Yeah, they can, because they got left behind.
Oh, good point, actually, yeah.
They can't put gays in this movie. People will get angry.
They were there.
That was kind of what I was getting
They were
at.
there in the background.
He just explained
I knew
my
they were
point.
there. Can't hide them from me.
So I've got the one with the best title, Left Behind
Call of Duty World at War.
Mm-hmm. And essentially, because I can't be bothered to really explain the plot of this, I'll just kind of round it up. So this is supposed to be a year and a half after the original movie, where Nikolai is now like taken over the world because he's basically owned every like news station and TV plot and everything, and essentially they're thinking of ways to stop him from creating damnation, but the only problem is that apparently you can't kill him, so
Guess they gotta just chill out for a bit.
yeah.
Didn't he like kill those two guys at the end of Tribulation Force in like the UN conference room? He like shot those two guys because they opposed him, and he's like, anyone else? And everyone's like, no. And that was a weird one as well. Like in that scene, it's like he shot those two guys, and like 10 minutes later, like you hear from outside 2 shots, and then the guards come running in.
That was the end of the first one.
Nah.
No, I think it was
the end of the first one. That's when you first find out he's the Antichrist.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow!
See what I mean?
Every film blends into each other a little bit, because every film has, I don't know. I mean, even as uninteresting as this film was, at least Nikolai had some sort of reason to be the shithead that he is.
What was that?
He's just the Antichrist, isn't he? He's just living life. Yeah, he's just being cool.
He was just naturally evil.
Although I'm not right. I'm gonna just get this bit out of the way first. About how hilarious like the very end shot of this film is, where he's like walking around that fire, but it's like a real fire.
The explosion comes out. He's like, wow.
It's like something out of a B movie, James Bond.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was like the funniest thing
That was
I've ever
great.
seen.
That was really great.
That was actually unironically really fun.
These Crizzo movies are dull as shit, man. I was going insane. Honestly, I was tearing my fucking hair. I was like, please, just end. Just end. You've just said this whole trilogy, nothing has been communicated. And now I gotta go through this like whole like another hour and a half while like they're world at war I don't know, like the president's got to do something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
didn't
like
it-
some illness that's like killing a couple people.
Oh, they got the Green Goblin juice.
Yeah, and on the
That's a big
Bibles.
point about this. It's like they had the Green Goblin juice that like they poisoned the Bibles with to kill all the Christians.
Yeah, Chris was
Yeah.
in the toilet at this point, so he missed it. But yeah, there was like this green goblin juice that had like binary codes running
Yeah.
through
No, I
it.
saw that.
Oh, you saw it? Okay, I thought
Yeah,
you
and
missed
then
it.
like the antidote they find out was communion wine.
Yeah.
I can
yeah.
breathe again.
That was weird.
Why
There's
did
like at
they?
least like half an hour or so where they're like, "Oh, this guy's dying," and then someone, I think it's Chloe's, like, "No, I've got it too. I'm also going," and then no one dies, and they all like recover.
No, that man died
I know,
because
yeah,
no one gave
that
him any
guy
The
wine.
man
dies.
who was like dying the entire time. He's like, also, I got this bread and this wine, and they're like, cheers, bruv. And
Yeah, they
then,
don't even
like,
feed him
they
any
give
bread.
Chloe the wine, and then he dies because he didn't have any of the wine. And
felt
then he
really bad
dies with
for
his
him.
eyes open, and they're just like, fucking weirdo. And
Yeah,
then
they
like
don't even,
cover
like-
his face.
yeah.
They don't shut his eye. They just cover his face with a blanket. Like, oh, that's weird. You got like three
Yeah.
black people in this whole movie, and like, all of them die. Like, apart from like the one president, except like you think he's definitely dead. He gets thrown out of a window and he lands like from like 10 stories onto a car, and he like gets up and he's like, that hurt. Ow.
And out of this hour and a half movie, it takes an hour and 20 minutes to get back to the beginning of this film.
Yeah, it's like,
What?
what is that? Like at the beginning, it's like everything's shit, and they're like 10 days earlier, and then it takes like an hour and a half just to like go back to that initial point. And you're
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, and
I
then
don't
you've
know,
only
you
got
could have probably just done without all that,
and then you got like 10 or 15 minutes left of the film.
or just like don't start it from the future. Just start it from like
Where
the
you are.
initial point, like, yeah, and then work up to that. You don't need a flashback.
Like the whole movie's a flashback,
Yeah,
not even like a segment that rounds it off.
no. Why don't we just start every movie with that? It's like a
Yeah.
scene from later in the movie, and you go, 10 days earlier.
Was it
And then
supposed to
you
entice
do the entire
us,
movie,
you know?
and then you get to that at the end point. It's like, oh, okay.
I'll be honest though, like one of my favourite points about this film is because it was made by Sony. They had a bit more budget, but it looked so cheap. Like all the shots of the White House from outside looked like a green screen with like little bits of like fake fire on them. It was really funny. And it was like the same shots being used for those kind of things.
Yeah.
And then
They're
they
using
had
like a lot of like weird like lenses. There was like a point where like the president's like driving in the car with the people, and like I don't know what kind of lens they're using, but it's like broad daylight. It's like snowing, and like you could see like the headlights from the cars, but they were also like floating above it. Like they were like moving around. Why did you do that? It was just like individual lights just like floating in the daytime. That was weird. I don't know. I thought I was going insane at that point. I was like, these movies are broken me. Why are the lights floating?
Yeah. I actually don't think there's anything really to say about this movie.
No.
It's literally like the exact same as the second movie. Nothing happens.
In like the part where the flight attendant from like the first movie maybe goes like, Ray, you love me, Ray.
No, he
Admit
was
it.
at the shop at that point, so he actually did miss that bit.
Admit it. Oh yeah. He's
Okay.
like on a plane, and she's like, admit it, Ray. You have the hots for me. And he's like, no, I'm a Christian now.
Yeah, that was
Go
my-
away from me, you whore.
That was actually my salvation of this film, was that Chris knocked on the door when that scene was happening, and I went, oh, thank God for that. And I just walked out and went, Chris, the pilot lady seducing him, and he can't do it because he's a changed man. And Chris was like, cool. He just didn't care. There's not a lot of note that happens in this movie. Although, do you know what, honestly, like the last 5 or so minutes are actually golden. Like that Nikolai guy's like, you want to shoot me? You can't kill me. And then he like shoots these like bullets, and they go straight through him and kill the guy that's
Yeah.
behind him.
He
I
killed
don't
the
know.
other black guy.
Golden. Absolutely golden.
Inadvertently. No, not the other black guy who has no lines. He's like a security guard. He's like, I didn't mean to shoot you. And then like Nikolai force chokes the president with his Darth Vader powers.
Oh, yeah.
No, Don't kill this one too. Don't kill this guy. I didn't know who he was like the entire time, and it was like only at the end did I realize he was supposed to be the president. And I was like, shit.
Actually, hold on a minute. This is the film, right, where after he does the Darth Vader choke, he like chucks him out the window and you see all the CGI glass and it looks really funny.
It's like, no.
Because like all the glass looks like it was like drawn on paint or something. It looks really bad. I'm not gonna lie, I love the last 5 minutes of this film. It's just so funny.
Such a slog to get there. I should have just skipped it.
Yeah, skipped the last 5 minutes where it was just golden. Yeah. And they're gonna make more of these, so I'm hoping whoever is watching these is honestly, I hope you're having a really good time, but I'm not having a good time.
They've not done any like direct sequels to this movie. This is like a trilogy, and then everything else is like completely different. Like obviously
you've got the same name.
Yeah, like you've got that Nick Cage movie, which I have seen. I saw it like a few years ago, which is really, really funny. I'd recommend that because it's still terrible, but it's more entertaining than any of these. That's kind of the same plot as the first movie, but most of it's just set on the plane. Then they did like a young adult like spin-off from that called like Stranded or something. That was like in 2016. And then they've got a new one coming out this year, which I think is another like spin-off. Like something, I don't know.
Wow. Oh, I'm not going to watch that.
No.
I wouldn't even know how. It's just like a lot of like really niche B movies. I don't know. I guess you get your hands on it if you are really hardcore about it. But I don't know anybody who is. I don't know anybody who's like really hardcore about these movies at all. I've never heard about them. Honestly, I knew that the Nick Cage one existed, but I didn't know it was like anything. I didn't know that these movies existed. I didn't know they were based off books. This is the worst trilogy we've done. This is the single worst trilogy we've ever done on this podcast.
And I really didn't want it to be so, because I was so excited. I was staying on the train with Chris on Sunday and we were having a really bad day, and I was like, do you know what? I'm actually really excited for tomorrow because I feel like they're going to be funny. No.
Couple of laughs here and there.
Yeah.
Not enough.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like even the last 5 minutes of the third movie did not make up for all the day that I missed out on going to the gym and being in the somewhat sun being the word there. No, I'm just disappointed. I really expected more. I just wanted more. Is it too much to ask for something more?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Sad. Do we even want to rate it?
Left Behind, Call of Duty, World at War.
Yeah. Let's rate it out of Flaming Nikolai's.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's nothing to say. This is just garbage. This is my least favourite of the trilogy, and definitely my least favourite thing we've done on this podcast. 1 Flaming Nikolai out of 10.
Yeah, absolute trash. I don't know how I would rate them within each other. They're kind of about the same for me all around. Because it's just like one long experience, and like they didn't really manage to differentiate themselves between like really anything. It's weird because it's like we're all like, it's like a completely different team each time except for the actors. You'd think there'd be something, but no, not really. Yeah, I'd probably give it 1 Flaming Nikolai out of 10. If like, I don't know, I would never recommend it, and I don't. It is like that kind of B movie. It's like the problem we talked about when we talked about like the Lilo and Stitch movies. It's like at a certain point, like what can you say that like
that hasn't already been done or whatever?
Nobody fucking cares, right? About the fucking Left Behind movies. Nobody cares about Leroy and Stitch.
Well, someone obviously
we
cares,
do, but it's this is a movie made for the crew who made the movie. I'm glad they made them. I hope they're happy that they made them, but it's not for me, really.
Yeah, I think this is quite the trilogy for 3 non-believers. I think, do you know what? I actually think this could have been quite spicy had we gotten someone who had at least some form of faith on here, because they might have been able to bring some.
I don't think so.
No, but I think they might have had some interesting insight to how if they didn't like the film, why they thought they didn't like the film. If that makes sense. Like I would have liked some insight from someone. And I mean, do you know what? If there is anyone actually listening to this that is religious and wants to shit on all of us or wants to shit on the
I don't know,
films.
because it's like-
I'm open to it, to be
It is
honest.
bullshit, and it's like really like archaic type stuff that they're doing here. It's like
It is,
it's
but I want to
completely out of like the modern.
Yeah, I want to know why
way
they
and,
feel
like-
that though. Like, because I don't know. It's something that
It's really
I
out of
want to. I want
touch.
to hear from them. It
Yeah.
is very out of touch though. Very.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even rated it. I just, one Flaming Nikolai because I don't know. I just, do you know what? I hope everyone who likes the films are having a good time, but this was not the time for us three, and it didn't convert any of us, so that's pretty sad, actually. Very sad
I
indeed.
was really open to it as well.
Well-
I really wanted to be.
Oh, it did get me thinking about other things though, but like not in a religious kind of sense. He was do you know, it's like in like spiritual senses. I was like thinking about stuff like that because I'm very much into like that kind of thing. But
Like what?
I don't know, like I was thinking about, you know how there are some like religions that believe like your soul goes on and you like live on as like a animal or like a reincarnation or whatever. I wasn't thinking necessarily like on those lines. But I do think that people don't really die. I think they live on through things that they've like created or left behind. Or, like not left behind. Oh my god!
Whoa, it all comes back in the end.
But like, I don't know. There's like I'm very kind of spiritual in the sense of like I do feel like you don't really die.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's why I like the movie A Ghost Story. It's like
Yeah,
about,
it's kind of like that.
it's
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
and how like life and death are affected through time,
Mm.
and then like space and all that. That's a better movie than like any type of like messaging these movies are trying to go for.
There we go.
It's like trying to measure like shit though, isn't it?
Yeah, trying to get the best out of the worst, I suppose.
Okay, Left Behind trilogy done in the bank. Next week, Jesus Christ, episode 80. We
Wow.
almost have made it. It's the first week of the month. We always do a free for all, so we're each gonna pick just a movie each, just whatever we want. Whatever is, just have fun with it. Just be
Yeah.
a bit crazy. Who knows? What we got? What's on the docket?
Okay. Last week we watched the film The Graduate, which was one of my favourites, and it didn't go down very well. So I'm really, really anxious about this pick because this is like one of my all-time favourites. I really, really adore this movie. I've wanted to pick it for a free-for-all for months. I'm picking the 1976 film directed by Sidney Lumet, Network.
I kind of wanted to
Ooh.
see that though. I think if it's the film that I'm thinking
Yeah, it's on
about.
both of your watch lists.
I just watched 12 Angry Men.
Yeah,
from him.
I think you might like it if you like that film, to be fair. He's
I love that
got
movie.
a distinct style.
Cool, awesome, Network. I'm gonna pick a movie. It might, I don't know, like, I don't know how Chris is gonna feel about this.
Hey,
'Cause
he told me earlier that both of us were gonna hate this. So, what? Why
don't
did
know
it
what it
change?
is,
I was
so-
kind of tossing it up.
change?
I mean, for this one, I was kind of tossing it up. I did kind of change it around a bit every so often. I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to come back to this. Yeah, the reason I say that though is because we've reviewed it on the podcast before, but I don't think we've had enough of an in-depth discussion with it. I think Chris has only seen it once.
Since
I
I've
wanted
been
to-
here, or
You haven't seen this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This was
Yeah,
like
I think I've
really
got a
early
feeling
days.
what it is.
It was really early days that we had talked about this. I listened to the conversation. I was like, it's kind of like, I wish we'd have gone a bit more in depth with it, or like explored a bit more about like how it affected us. And I want to see what Darcy thinks of it as well, because it's a really interesting movie, I think. But I'm gonna pick again. See kind of what we get out of it this time around. If our feelings change or if they stay the same, I don't know. It's kind of a wild card here. But I'm going for Peter Weir's Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Yeah, that was literally just me and you because Connor didn't join us that episode. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm up for watching it again. I don't really remember it at all.
I've never even heard of
and
it.
this time, you know, we've got the Blu-ray. I've got the Blu-ray. We watched it on like YouTube. It was like a YouTube transfer.
Yeah, the
first
quality
time.
wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, so this should be interesting. What movie did I pick again?
Fucking hell.
Oh yeah. Chris, do you wanna announce it for me?
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I picked a film called Tomboy.
You
Yeah.
announced it yesterday. You told us.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, but that was yesterday.
Celine Sciamma movie.
Yeah, Celine Sciamma.
Sorry, everyone.
The one who did the really good ones. Some of the really good ones.
Yeah, I actually need to watch that film right behind me on the poster.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
I heard it's very gay, so I need to watch it.
It is
I
very
gotta
gay.
say, you would love that movie.
I thought about picking it, but I remembered that you guys were like, "Oh, our films are really long, so Darcy, to avoid death, you might want to pick a short one." And this one, God bless her soul, is only 82 minutes. So,
Brilliant. So, yes.
well, I mostly picked it based on there's a review here that says gender is a fucking prison. So I was like, yes, I'm picking this.
Awesome.
Cool. I've got the gender movies next time. Network, Picnic at Hanging Rock, and Tomboy. Brilliant. Awesome. See you next time on episode 80. Social media. It's out there. See you, any last words?
I'm looking up this movie.
Okay.
Watch the Simpsons episode, the Left Below one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, it's better than all three of these movies.
That's what I was like. This is just Simpsons have tackled like these things. It's like
I think it's almost like they knew.
it's like way better. Honestly, yeah, it is almost like they knew. See you next time on the Sunday
Simpsons
Marathon.
I thought all religions were a path to God. I was wrong.